This FM 104.3.
But let me come strictly to the issue of whether Dumsor and I need Dumsor. Dumsor the But the critical question is what is the cause? And that is what the utilities, not utilities, but the players are not telling us. ECG and the distributor, and if there are outages, they are not telling us what really is the reason. Apart from the contrived explanation, because of transformer overload in Asif. But I do not think, all of a sudden, transformer overload is the reason I Dumsor. And I have made the point, we need to continue to invest in our power sector at every turn. Investments are here canino NMA yet me sustaining power on for over 7 years. But it appears because now you were regular and constant supply, we forgot to continue the investments in the sector. And I could do something. And I said, I said, can who say, Sebibiaba, if it's a financial issue, maybe we are unable to buy fuel to power the plants. Look, we need to bear out the truth so that Ghana for we can get their buy-in. But we say a transformer overload. OBN said transformer overload it only causes localized problems. But they say this is a nationwide crisis. And because of issues of climate change, says here weather near different. You do light and ajua. Nana I want to and it affects productivity the following day. And Dumsor any effects Asha say no. And we need to tell ourselves the truth. The extent of the problem. The Itimiaka say, at this point, says here, this is a temporary problem we can fix. Na say sikasem enya sikana, then you bet say, this problem might drag up to this point. In which case, then the demand for timetable might be reasonable. But for now, dear, I do not support the idea say for timetable. What if the problem is temporary? A problem will go after a month or two. Now, pray demand the timetable. You are putting the cart before the horse. But Nininasu is all these suggestions and demands for timetable are a function of knowing the true state of the crisis. Mukan Ukraine when you went in a year war. And they should not come repeating I can say overloaded transformers. No, that argument and they should not come repeating those. Those arguments are unsustainable. And that is why I had issues with ECG and the CEO of ECG, because he was not being completely honest with us. He kept saying transformer overload, as if to say over the last 7 years, now. Increases in the load on transformers. These are things you monitor, because Munamia distributors, at every point if there is an increase in load on a particular transformer. And you cannot say you failed to invest in new transformers and additional transformers, knowing very well the demand on these and the load on these transformers is not cost. It is because there are other issues among country, and those are the issues we deserve to know, and we are asking now again. Media, we share the mix now. There is this focus on shifting towards renewable energy, especially solar. I would have thought, we, as we speak, I think has invested in having about 50 or 60 megawatt kilo hours of solar power, like.
And it's 5 megawatts.
Is it 5 or 50?
5.
And it's what we can
50 megawatts or yes.
No, 50 megawatts is 5.
5 megawatts, yes.
They are doing both floating and inland. On ground.
Yeah, the floating one is 5 megawatts.
From there. But my suggestion is that we need to invest a little more in,
But I think that past government, current government are investing heavily in solar. When you go on your way to Apam Junction, you have 2 companies. That is BXC and Maya Energy. They are also producing 5 megawatts.
For themselves, another is
no,
a feeding tariff
arrangement. Yeah,
it's a feeding tariff arrangement.
Yeah, tariff arrangement.
So that's another thing I wanted to talk about. This FITS is a model and Amama Mbibre say you generate energy through renewable sources, and then you feed it into the national grid.
National grid.
Then you get paid for it.
Yes.
And it's something I say we need to start thinking also about. But Mati said the FIT, the tariff is a bit low, kakra.
Yes.
In MZ can be na ABR. Initially, I see 20 pesos per kilowatt hour. Says here, Swatia by 11 pesos per kilowatt hour. Whatever, or is it cents, whatever it is, I think we need to find a way to increase more solar generation into the mix. And another issue, and it's VRA initially was just hydropower based, and they were running only hydro plants. And yeka as thermal and count. But at a point there was a suggestion to divest VRA of all the thermal plants. And we will take us into a certain realm because I'm very baby. And yeka said when the decision was made, say, look, let VRA focus only on hydro plants. And thermal now, let's find another alternative, another body to run it. All of a sudden, America, yes, he and American Sankoma VRA, which is a thermal plant. And what was a VRA when they generate hydropower? No? They do it at around, I think, 20 cents per kilowatt hour. But thermal plants now, Omo generator is more expensive. At the end of the day, they do what they call cross-subsidization, which increases the operational cost of VRA. And Kenya, another body be that Omojuman said they are just running thermal plants now. And Kenya sure said VRA is here almost can be because they are also part of the producers. If they are unable to generate enough, affecting a Dumsor situation. If Ankamu focus only on hydro, me sure say Kana ABS is here or Mubono Ankamu Bosa Kano. Until we need to divest VRA of the thermal plants as quickly as possible. But I don't understand why we had to, go back on that arrangement, and even decided to add Ameri or new thermal plants to VRA. Let's allow them to focus more on the hydro, explore even more if they have to, because since Akosombo, year 2 Akosombo, Bui is the next, and we cry a new authority, and VRA in Irani Bui.
Bui power authority.
What is here? Let's empower VRA to look at alternatives of even, they may not be as big as Akosombo, but maybe, to serve communities. In other jurisdictions, power containers, solar, Ubesi estate, like if you're a developer, they tell you, say, look, find arrangements not to depend on the national grid. And some of them produce power containers, solar na omoye, and solar power powers the entire estate. So at the end of the day, there is not much dependence on the national grid. And the pressure now better national grid now a suit because new estate develop and our new estates are urban. They are running on their own power. These are arrangements we need to start thinking about and encourage people. We need to incentivize developers to start thinking about me estate here. I should be able to provide power for my residents. Instead of everybody will pay national grid now be connected. So these are my initial thoughts on this particular issue.
This FM 104.3 Good to meet